Hey, how's everybody today? Gosh, I haven't done a live in a long time. I haven't had time. It's been a little hectic. The Hope we get some people. Um, I know I didn't have a chance to do anything about it, advance noticing or anything, but here we are. I We've had a lot of medical problems. Is what's going on. So we won't go into any details. That's good enough. But I'm hoping to pick up some of the old gang. Been a long time since I've done a live, a long time. It probably, well, let's see, gotta be 6 or 8 months at least. Uh, that's why I'm hoping I find some people here. We don't know. Uh, I'm going to do a little typing here as I'm going along. Just welcome somebody. Oops. There. My friends, please join me. Yeah, I've come out pretty good. That's good enough. Hey, I don't know if anybody's listening out there. If they are, well, fine. Uh, I'm hoping I'll get a few folks here. It's sometimes it's a little iffy when you jump into one of these without any advance notice. You can end up sitting and talking to yourself, which is all right. You know, when you get my age, you can talk to yourself. That's all right. It's great. Oh, here's somebody. Yes, it is. Well, it's been a long time since I've done a live stream. I'm so glad you're here. It's good to see you. I hope everything's been well. The COVID thing, that's all over the place yet. We're starting to get quite a few. In fact, most of my congregation in our church has had it. Uh, thank God I have missed it. I've had all my shots, got the boosters, all that good stuff. So hopefully I won't get it. My lungs ain't too good, so I don't want to get it. So what have you been up to anyway? Lucky Jack, what have you been doing to keep busy? I think it'd be nice if these things we could just talk back and forth rather than typing. It, one of the guys in church, he told me, he says, I wish you'd go on there and do your weather thing. I'm going to throw that out there then. If you want to sum up central New York's weather, it's like this. We have pre-winter, winter, extended winter, and a very short hot spell. That's about what it amounts to. Our our springs are usually cold, damp, and wet. And fall is getting so it's almost non-existent. We just kind of jump into cooler weather. What was that one? That was one. Okay. I had my birthday last month. I was going to church again. Right now, I go to a Baptist one. COVID's been spreading like crazy in Australia. Ooh, sorry to hear about the spreading of the COVID stuff. Glad you're going to church again. That's good. That's That's a good deal. I'm all in favor of everybody going to church. The I think that's half the problems with our world today is it's got too far away from what's right and what's wrong, and the if everybody kind of went to church and followed the good book, we wouldn't have all this nonsense going on. If just like Putin invading Ukraine, that's I think if he'd have been brought up a little different with a little religion, he might not be great doing everything. Thank you. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. Sometimes I feel like I'm preaching to the wind, But anyway, uh, it's it's hard in today's world. Uh, today's world, the church. People that go to church is way down here, and people that don't go to church is way up there. I mean, it's a big difference. And unfortunately, I think this is why we have so much crime. We have all these guys running out and shooting everybody just for the fun of it. Like we just had that one there with the subway there down in New York City. The guy shot up a bunch of people I guess, just for the heck of it. I don't know. He didn't seem to give any great reasons. Um, and most of them, they wouldn't have a good reason for it anyway. Never a good reason to just shoot up people for the fun of it. That's not, something's wrong, when they do that stuff. So, uh, how's your weather down there in Australia? I don't know if you guys are into winter or what down there. I've kind of lost track of that stuff. When I was in the service, I used to know what was going on in different parts of the world. Uh, that was a good many years ago. The We just come home. We just came home from the city. I had to go out to Chucky Havener's and get a hanging plant for out front to hang next to my hummingbird feeder. Lewis Phillips is with us. Hi there. Glad to hear. The So if you hang a brightly colored flower next to your hummingbird feeder, it seems to help draw them. So, and last year we had a lot of them. So that's pretty good. Lewis Phillips, where are you from? Says it's pretty overcast, cold. I think it might rain today. Well, that's good. Well, that's nice. You can tell your grandmother hello for me. The That's nice that you're down there seeing her. I never. I only knew one grandfather, and that was very short time. Oh, you're from the UK, okay? That's nice over there too. I didn't get to see too much of that part of the world while I was in the service. They seemed to think I should stay in the tropics, so they just kept shuffling me around in the tropics and stuff. That was uh, that was the way that went. I remember I was in Australia once for about an hour. They flew us in to pick up some stuff and out. That was it. It was a wild, quick trip and a half. We could have used them jet planes back when I was in. Such all over. The fastest things we had in those days was turboprops, and they weren't the fastest thing in the world. I can remember you when you left this country and you went over into the South Pacific and stuff. I can't remember exactly. I could be off on these hours, but it seemed like we flew for like 17, 18 hours at I mean, stop and refuel at different places. I remember we should stop in Hawaii and refuel once in a while when they were moving you around. Of course, then when you got to where you were going, then you were there quite a while. So the New York State is a bad place to live. No, you wouldn't want it down in the city. No, that's not a. I took a bus trip a few years back. Me and my wife, we went down to Long Island. She wanted to take this bus trip, so we did. And but that's the only way to go. Is uh, we missed the city somehow. I didn't know where I was when I was down there. So but we went down to Long Island and traveled around that a little bit and looked around and stuff. It was all right. I mean, Long Island is kind of like there's parts of it that you kind of get out almost like in the country a little bit. Uh, I remember we seen some lighthouses and different stuff like that. It was all right, but not a place I want to live. Mm-mm. Yeah. See now, like New York State, we have a lot where I am. I mean, we have a lot of woods and stuff. I mean, we're there's quite a lot of woodland and what have you in New York State. A lot of farmland and stuff. The farms are getting less and less, though. As I don't know, people are kind of giving up the farming deal. What it's going to now is these giant greenhouses. Uh, we got one not too far from us. I mean, it's a monster. I forgot how many football fields that this thing is. I mean, it's huge. Um, I can't remember if it was. Well, I ain't gonna throw any numbers out there because I can't remember for sure. But it was a lot of football fields it takes up. I mean, that's huge. This thing is, and they raise everything in that, and that kind of looks like that's going to be the uh, a big share of the future in farming. Is this stuff all done in here and They don't use soil. It's done with water and I don't know, air or something. But anyway, they're raising an awful lot of stuff in those, and there's several big ones around. This is the first one I ever see, and I think that's going to be the where your food products are going to come from. All your vegetables and stuff. I think eventually a big share of them is going to come out of these giant greenhouse type things. The they kind of take the place of all the big farms that used to be. I mean, there's still a lot of farms. Don't get me wrong, but nothing like they used to be. At least in our area here, around us, the farmers have kind of all sold the land off for housing projects, and now the big thing is solar panels. Acres of solar panels. This seems to be the big thing now up here. I'm not too sure. I think I like the solar panels better than them silly windmills, though. Them windmills just kind of ugly on the landscape, but I don't really know if they do a whole lot or not. But they put these solar panels now. We've got oh gosh, 6 or 7 of them right close by. I mean, there's one road over here, they just put a whole new one in, and the next road right over behind it, which by the crow flies wouldn't be very far over, they just put another one. And then, let's see. There's 2 more. What is this? Kind of north of me. And then there's some more to the west. And this is just all this one little area. I mean, this is just a lot of this stuff going up. And that ain't counting the ones where people are putting them in their own backyards and on their roofs and stuff like that. And I went by the Paul de Lima outlet store the other day. That's a big coffee outfit. And that's out, that's about 40 miles from me, I guess. And I see that they've got solar panels all over their yard and stuff. Must be that's what they're using for electricity. But there's a lot of that going on. And I've been trying to figure out how much electricity one of these fields puts out. I keep asking people, nobody seems to be able to tell me. A waterfall garden feature that is powered by solar. That sounds nice and cool. One moment, I got a phone going off here. Don't recognize it. I'm not going to mess with it. It's probably another scam call. I don't know if you guys get scam calls in the UK and in Australia or not. We get them, tons of them here. We have one there that they want to sell you an automotive warranty. And they always start this out. This is your last courtesy call on this thing. And it's all computer generated, so there's nobody you can talk to. You can't scream at anybody and say, please don't call me anymore. It says if you want to opt out of this, hit 9. You hit 9 and you're going to get more calls. That's just what you get. I get the one on the automotive warranty every day on the house phone and usually on my cell phone too. And it's just constant. And then, of course, then you got all the other scam calls in there too, and got a lot of scammers as well. Yeah, telemarketers. Yep. Well, ours are all mostly foreign countries too. Although we do have, some local, or uh, when I say local, I mean in country, but it's a nightmare. I mean, they just keep right on with this stuff. Now, I just had another one here just before I started this live. Um, this one that comes on. The guy goes, "Since you've been paying your utility bills so good, uh, press this number and we'll reward you." And yeah, you press that number and you'll be rewarded. All right, you just hang them up and keep going. That's we got that. Oh, the best one I ever had. This was cool. Uh, these people don't understand how our government works or anything else, So they they'll call you up and they say, "This is the Social Security police." There is no Social Security police, but right off the bat, that tells everybody, okay, this is, and once in a while you get a live one, and that's cool. This guy called up and he says, "This is the Social Security police." He says, "You owe us a bunch of money and blah blah blah." I don't know. He went on with something, and he rattled it all real fast. And he says, "I'm coming down to your place." And I says, "Well, come on down." And that stopped it right cold. Oh, why? I says, "Why?" I says, "Well, me and Doc Savage are waiting for you." He says, "Who's Doc Savage?" I said, "My 12 gauge shotgun." And bam! I was up and down with his phone. I never got him again. That was cool. Oh, I guess the whole world is full of this scammer business. The only thing is, there's a lot of the older people that fall into this stuff. Uh, they actually believe it, and they play it on everything. They'll call up and tell you that this is the Social Security Department. Uh, are you tired of having the paper Social Security card? If so, uh, we can give you this thing in a plastic one. Just give us your Social Security number. Now, wait a minute. If this was a Social Security Department calling you, they would have your number. But some people they fall into it. They give them their number, and that's how they lose their IDs or their identities. This identity theft thing, and uh, then they'll call up, and these are obvious ones. I mean, if a guy calls up and he says, "Hey, I'm going to give you $1 million if you send me $10,000 so that I can pay for the processing fees or whatever." I mean, right off the bat, nobody's going to give you $1 million. That's. But there are people that fall into this stuff. It greed, see, gets in there. They'll get. Oh. Now, if it sounds too good to be true, it's not. See. Love it, love it. I love it. That's a good one. The oh, I've played games with him. My good friend, he sits in. His wife gets all mad at him because he sits there and he listens to all they got to say. But if they're live, he sits there and he listens to all they got to say, and then he takes them on with a lot of garbage. I've done it with a couple of them, but I just get tired of messing with them. I mean, they call so much that. But usually, if you can get anybody that's live, and if you give them a bad time, um, they kind of get the message and don't bother you so much. But and my wife gets a bag out of me because I'll scream in the phone every once in a while. And she says, "Well, wasn't it recorded?" I says, "Yeah, but maybe somebody was listening on the others to it too." So give them an earful. But yeah, there's some crazy stuff I did. Oh, I got to tell you, it's a good one I did. This one's a good one. Guy calls up and he says it was about car insurance, and he says that I've got a deal for you on car insurance. And I says, what do you need car insurance for? He said, well, you drive a car, don't you? I says, yeah. And he said, we got to have car insurance. I said, no, you don't. He said, what do you mean you don't? I said, I don't have car insurance. He says, well, what do you do for, how do you get your plates? I said, you get them out of the junkyard. I said, go get the plates and put them on. I'm walking this guy right down the trail, you know. And he says, what? I says, yeah. Well, what do you do about an inspection? I said, same thing. You scrape this inspection sticker off a junk car in the junkyard and stick it on yours. And the guy says, well, how long have you been doing that? I says, all my life. I hung up on And then, oh, another one I had call up, this woman selling burial insurance. And she says, you need burial insurance. I said, no, I don't. She says, well, what do you mean you don't? I said, I'm immortal. I said, I'm never going to die. I says, good. I got you guys laughing anyway. But anyway, I said, this woman, I says, I'm immortal. I ain't going to die. Well, how old are you? She says, I said, I'm a little over 600. I've got her going good, you know, on the other end. But my wife has a fit when I do this stuff, you know. But hey, they're gonna call me up and harass me. I can harass back a little bit. But yeah, it's something. I get tired of it. But what are you gonna do? Could be worse, I guess. But you guys ever give them a bad time like that? That's just what you got to do with them, you know. it, and once in a while, you'll actually get somebody on there that's actually kind of nice. I had this one girl call up, and she was so pleasant and so nice that I didn't give her a bad time. I just says no, thank you, and hung up the phone carefully. You know, it's like, uh, so she had to be somebody in this country because I mean her English was too good. She wasn't from some of them foreign countries. Speaking of people of foreign countries, I mean I've got nothing against anybody anywhere. I I respect everybody, and uh, but these companies that you're dealing with, like you get a warranty problem or something, and you call up and you got this person that doesn't have any idea what you're saying, and you don't have any idea what they're saying. I mean that's a little rough. Like, well, I play around with telemarketers that call with them for too long will give them an opportunity to get more information of your mobile phone. Well, that's true too. If you're on a mobile phone, I usually do this with the house phone. Um, at my mobile phone, I use tracfone for that, so I don't want to waste my minutes just messing around with them on there. And get a friend that says to me, he says, "How can you mess with tracfone?" I said, "I like tracfone. It's cheap." Um, and as far as the thing goes, they say to me, uh, what, don't you worry about it running out? I says, no, right now I'm paid through April of 2020, 2023. So it's, you just throw a card on there once in a while and, let it go at that. And I've got, I don't know, couple 3,000 minutes build up, so that's good enough. I got plenty of time. The only thing I was having problems with was texting because I got a couple of friends that's all they want to do is text, and you don't get a whole lot of texting with this track phone thing. But then I found out if you go to their site for $5, you can buy 1,000 texts. That isn't bad. So anyway, just about the time I discovered this, TracFone was having it's one of its Christmas giveaway deals. And I sat there punching their little wheel and stuff and this and that. And I actually made enough so that I purchased two of those $5 ones with their money and got 2,000 texts put on. Hey, Darth Kidd is here. I'm glad you're here. Got these two other nice fellas here too. We're all having a good time here. Yeah, got more people than I thought I did. It's pretty decent. I got to check my time because I gotta keep. I'm gonna have to get involved in this because uh, my wife's sister's in the hospital, and that's where she is up there. So I'll have to get around and try to fix up some lunch or something here after a bit, but for her when she gets back. But the her sister's got fourth stage cancer, lung cancer, and they gave her 6 months to live, and that was a little over 3 years ago. Uh, she's been doing pretty good. The only thing is here lately she's been getting pneumonia on top of this, and that's what she was up the hospital for. Now they had her in there for she's been in there. Friday. I think she went in Tuesday or Wednesday. Anyway, they took her in and gave her medication through an IV. So I guess they got her pneumonia on the run, and but she's been pretty tough. She's been doing, something that probably is never going to heal, or I mean, never going to go away. But it's been kind of like half in remission. She's been doing pretty good with it. Our church was praying pretty heavy for her, and I think that helped quite a lot. Um, you know, yes, she had. My wife keeps saying that her sister's got 9 lives like a cat. Uh, well, I don't know about her having 9 lives, but she's done pretty good. I mean, when they give you 6 months to live and you're 3 years later, you're still kicking. I will say, first time I've seen stuff like that. Now, this goes way back. I knew this old fella. He ran a little gas station, and they gave him just a little time to live. Well, I went into service, and 6 years later, I came out. I back home, and he's mowing his lawn. Okay. And I was talking to him, and because he was still running his gas station off and on. I says, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing good." He says. I says, "Oh, that's good." I says, "Remember they said you?" Oh, he says, "Every time I go to the doctors, they look at me and say, you got such and such and that. You can't live with that." And he said, "I'm living with it." Well, this was in the '60s, and it was somewhere in late '70s or early '80s that the old guy passed on. So he lived for, oh God, had to be 20, I don't know, maybe 30 years after they told him he couldn't. So I don't know what the. And there you go. That was all right. The I'm sorry to hear that he passed, but he managed to hang in there quite a while. The oh, well, I always said it. I've told several people this too. There's a thing called shark cartilage, and it comes in like a vitamin capsule form. And there are in the medical journals this is talked about, and there's a lot of countries that's what they give you when you get they don't mess with chemotherapy. They give you the shark cartilage capsules, and they're having quite a good recovery rate with it. I tell people to try that, and I've had two people that actually tried it, and it helped them. Um, and most of the people you can't take nothing. They want to just play with the chemotherapy and that type of stuff and let it go with that. And in fact, I had a good friend that died here, about 2 years ago now. And I actually went down and bought him a bottle of that and took it to give it to him. He never took it. I don't, me, I'm one of these guys that I'd try anything. I mean, see what this one's going to be. Now, another scammer. I can tell by the number that comes up.
Call from wireless caller.
I don't know what that was at all. Anyhow, I don't know how I've managed to stick around as long as I have. It's, I mean, in my family, none of the males live. My father was the oldest living male in the family, out of all his brothers and everything else. He was 62 when he dropped dead of a massive heart attack. So I always figured that, God, I probably wasn't going to make it past the 60s. And geez, the 60s came, and I'm into the 70s, and I'm to 79. Not doing too bad, hanging in there. It, yes, praise God. Well, that's I think well, he's the one keeping me going. Let's face it. You don't go unless he wants you to. So, and I just kind of hope he leaves me down here a while. The Although I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens. Like, he may not let me stay there. He may throw me out. But I mean, it's like I'd like to see what it looks like. The I always pray they just leave the gates open enough so I can kind of sneak in. The Told my pastor that. Yeah, I go to this little church. It's a small congregation, but it's all close. It's almost like one big family. And it's a good church. We have a good time there. Well, anytime you're praising God is a good time. But the one thing I did here last October, I had a back operation, and I very mixed feelings about the whole thing. I had this fire like from my waist down to my legs. I see. You got it. That's the way. The small congregation, it's like family, and it just It, you belong. But I had that operation, as I say, I had fire like from my waist down, all the way down, out on my feet. I'd be walking along, and my legs were just like they were burning up. Oh, they said, well, we operate on that. That'll take care of that. Okay. I says, I'll try it. Well, I had the operation. It wasn't a great idea at all. I had an awful time when I come home. But the fire is gone. That's great. But something about when they played with my spinal cord there, because that's what they were in there. I had some deteriorated discs and it all fell down, and they had to clean all that out. Anyway, somewhere along the way, they touched something because uh, my balance is completely off. Uh, I have to walk with my cane, and I take some pretty good falls, I'll tell you. If I try to go and do anything without my cane, I'm trying to do something. Like I can't stand up straight and do something with my hands. I'm going to be down. And that's the thing that bothered me. That and the fact my back hurts like a son of a gun all the time. It's like, okay. So I have mixed emotions on this operation stuff, I'll tell you right now. That's the first and last big operation I'm going to have. I'll tell you that right now. The other ones I had, I was a kid and can't remember most of them. I remember them, but not. They took my appendix out when I was about 6 years old, I think, and I had some other little operation when I was about 7, and that was it. And that you have them that age, you kind of outgrow, and that becomes distant memories. But when you get along in age and have them, it's not that much fun. Enough on that stuff. That's morbid. Anyway, the Darth Kid, you're pretty quiet there. We ain't hearing nothing out of you. Louis Phillips, he's not saying anything either. Too much. Well, let's hope you don't ever have to have operations. They're not a great fun thing to have. Plus today, I don't know. You see, with all this COVID stuff, you don't get, you know, who says he's still here lurking? Oh golly, the with this COVID thing, it's crazy. Just like usually after you have a good operation on your back or this or that, you have a little some physical therapy and stuff in it. So I went in. Let's see what day of the week was. I went on a Monday and got out on a Tuesday. Uh, they just kind of shove you in and out because of this COVID stuff. And all of the physical therapy I had was I walked up one step and down another to show them I could. That's it. You don't need more physical therapy. But that was it. So I don't know. Maybe that's all I needed. Who knows? Usually, I don't know. Like my wife, every time she's had an operation, they all kinds of physical therapy. I don't know. But anyway, so in fact, I didn't even get to follow up on my operation and stuff. They were supposed to do x-rays after 12 weeks. They were supposed to x-ray it back, make sure everything was doing good up back there. Well, 14 weeks came, and I says, well, I'll call them. I contacted them, and they says, well, we'll have to check into it. And then they called me back and they said, nope, you're all set. You don't need to be checked up or nothing. And so, who knows? The You never know with this stuff. But anyhow, I get around all right. I'm doing good. In fact, I think I'm doing a whole lot better than most people my age. I don't know. I see a lot of them. But we lost. In fact, I got a paper the other day that they're going to have a class reunion. 1962. That's long before any of you guys were around. That's when we graduated from school. So they sent this paper. They're going to have a reunion, and I probably won't go. Most of the people I want to see is gone. I mean, we lost a lot of guys out of my graduating class, Vietnam. A lot of us went over there, and only some came back. Well, I'm glad to hear that you didn't get it seriously. You must have had this light strain that's going around. But I'm glad you're okay. I worry about a heavy strain of it coming back again, like the first strain there, how it did such much damage. Of course, now we got medicines for it too, which would help. It's not, I think I hear somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. I'm back, guys. I'm back. It was a neighbor, I guess. The awful lot of weird crap out there. But I worry about this this COVID thing. So far, we've been developing some lighter strains, but nothing says that we can't get another heavy one out of it. That's what I don't want to see. Because we still got people. Just locally here, we lose right here within about a 3-county range. We lose people every day to this thing. Now, everybody in my church had it, except my wife and I. And we, thank God, it missed us. Although now he had, let's see, he had coughing, sneezing, and a runny nose. Felt like cold for me. I've had that. Now I might have had a cold. I don't know what I had. I didn't go anywhere. I take my temperature constantly. Well, I personally hope you're very right on that statement, that it gets less deadly and what have you. I personally think it's going to be a lot like the flu. I think we're going to end up getting a shot every year for it. Um, which won't be too bad, really. I mean, what the heck. I don't know if you guys get the flu shot where you're at or not, but I've been getting the flu shot, for many, many years. And I've been lucky for some reason. Before I got the flu shot, I used to get bronchitis and all this other stuff, I started getting the flu shot. I don't get that stuff anymore. I says, well, it's not supposed to help that stuff, but it seems to on my case, so it's okay. I'm happy. The don't need my age. I've got bad lungs. Agent Orange kind of from Vietnam there. That's got my lungs all messed up, and my heart isn't too good. So that's I just assume not get this stuff. It's it's I always figured if I'd have got that first heavy on there, I don't think I'd ever survived that, uh, because we didn't have the shots or anything for it for a long time. And after I got my shots, then I felt better. I said, "There, that'll help." But I think I don't get it. I got friends who will not get the shots. Uh, they've got all these weird things going. I stood down the restaurant one day listening to these guys, and it just was ridiculous. The one big conspiracy theory, or whatever you want to call it, that these guys have got going around here is that injection. They're putting this microchip into you, and then they come up with this wild theory that the second shot was a replacement battery for the microchip. And then they came up when the third shot came out. They says, "Well, that was another battery to be put." And I says to them, I says, "You guys listening to yourselves?" I says, "You imagine what kind of guidance system you'd have to have something hook up?" You've heard that one before, huh? Yeah, it's it's crazy some of the stuff that these people have figured think that's in this stuff. In fact, I know one nurse practitioner who's really, really good, just good as a doctor. He actually put some of the serum under a microscope to see what was in it. Because after you get so many shots out of that, there's always a little bit left in the bottom. So he took that and he was testing that out. He says, "There's nothing in there." I could have told you that. I mean, the heck, there's millions of us had the shots. I mean, if there was going to be anything terrible with them, we'd know it by now. Well, I've always figured I'd be vulnerable. I've had my fourth shot. I have the second booster.
Call from wireless caller. Call from wireless
Same
caller.
number, all the time on that thing. Yeah, we started getting a real heavy deadly one around. Uh, then you guys ought to get it. But right now, with what's going on, I don't know, you're probably all right. Probably don't need it. I don't know. That's kind of a personal thing that you guys have to do on your own. You have to. In my case, I'll take all the shots they can give me. Uh, if they got another one in the fall, I'll take it. It's I have enough problems breathing as it is, so I don't need it to get any worse. Yeah, and I don't need them to give me any more pills. God, they got me on so much stuff that I want to take the whole business and throw it in the toilet and flush it. Say the heck with it. But kind of afraid to do that too. See, so I just keep taking the stuff. Anyway, got to have a more pleasant thought here. The I'm glad you guys are all with me today. I really am. I didn't know how this live was going to work out because I haven't done a live in oh my. Uh, let's see if I can. I think the last live I did, I think Darth Kidd was in on it. I think he was with me on it. And trying to remember. I don't know, for quite a while anyway, because with all the medical stuff and back and forth and all this stuff. And then after the operation, haven't really put out anything really great in videos. Although the last video I did was on this. I think people misunderstood where I was going with this thing, but I did this one on this book that came with this table. And if you guys haven't saw it, just kind of you can find it on my thing there. It was about the last one I think I made. The what I was doing, I was kind of punching fun at these big companies because I bought this little table and with it I get this book with it, telling all about the table, how to use the table, all the stuff like you need it. You really need a book on how to use a table. I mean, But anyway, they it was a nice little book. It just hit me. So funny that you buy a new computer, you buy a new cell phone. I don't care what you buy. Most of the time, you don't get diddly for a book or anything else with it. Now, young people grew up with these computers and stuff in the school. So you guys are, you can do without a book. But you take older people, especially, they could use a book. Uh, I got friends that are having an awful time with this computer age. I got one friend, he's never had a credit card. Never. He's my age. He's never had a credit card. Well, he went out to this hospital, and not the one here in this our city, but out Syracuse. And he gets out there and he gets in the garage. He goes to leave the parking garage. He can't get out. You have to pay with a credit card. The only way you can pay is with this credit card. They don't have anybody there anymore in the little booth. It's all done with this. Scan your credit card, and then you get out. And you don't have a credit card. Well, anyway, the car behind him, the guy come up and scanned his credit card and for him and helped him out. But he's computer illiterate, might as well say, uh, and a lot of my friends are, and they could use a book uh, to come with that computer to tell them, how to turn it on, how to shut it off, and stuff. Um, for years, I've watched people screw their computers up. Now, with the new operating systems, If you shut it off by holding the button down, it don't seem to mess up the things like the old ones. But you take Windows 95, you punch that thing like that a couple of times, and you usually had a mess. Um, Windows 98. Windows 98 second edition, guys, I think was the greatest operating system they ever had. You could do some wonderful stuff with that. And now I just had a text, I think, come in. Oh, that's Swans. They got their newest food items. You guys probably, yeah, over there, you probably don't have a Swans. Swans is a door-to-door delivery. They have a whole line of meats and frozen goods and all kinds of stuff like that. Their pizzas are wonderful. Anyway, um, the truck comes around and but it's all good stuff. It actually some of it's cheaper than the grocery store, but the quality is a whole lot better. And they send me these alerts when they got different stuff going on. So evidently they're going to have a sale on some stuff. I'll have to look at it later and see what's in there. They come every 2 weeks, and you can order stuff from them. So they have a red skin potatoes, mashed potatoes in a bag. My wife loves them. Um, and we get their pizzas. They get a 4 cheese pizza that's very, very good. And it's very inexpensive. I don't know, it's like $6 of it, which isn't bad. Uh, Especially with the prices. I don't know how what's happening in your countries, but here our prices are going right through the roof in the grocery stores. So I don't know if you guys are being affected by any of that or not. Um, but we've had quite a mess out of this COVID thing and stuff. I don't know, between the COVID thing and trying to get back into normal. There don't seem to be any normal. Um, People aren't working here. There's jobs, there's help wanted signs everywhere. I don't care what you go to, there's a help wanted sign there. And but yet all these people out of work. Nobody wants to work, which I can't figure out yet because I don't know how they're living. What's their secret? Um, I worked until I was 73, and then I had to retire. My legs were shot. Um, that's another thing that with my back there with that balance bit, that's along with my legs being shot doesn't help that greatly. But anyway, I don't know. And you guys noticing anything weird over there? I'm gonna take this call out in the other room. I'll be right
Call
back.
from wireless caller.
I'll be right back.
Call from wireless.
Hello. No, she isn't. No, she isn't. She's getting her sister out of the hospital again. I think so. I don't really know a whole lot about it. But, you got the call, where she went. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Okay, very good. Yep, you too. Bye bye. Okay. I'm back, guys. I'm back. There. I thought I recognized that number. I did. A friend of my wife's there. I just had to run down the list here. It wasn't moving up on its own. I don't know why. Uh a year and 9 months is that last stream. Oh my gosh. I guess it has been a while. I was thinking it had been at least 6 months, maybe more. I'll tell you something, guys. This is one thing you're going to learn. When you get older, uh, time flies. Everybody says to you, "Oh, when you retire, you're going to be bored." Bored? Go to bed at night, get up in the morning, and it seems like it's time to go to bed again. I mean, that's how fast your days go. Um, so you just, uh, me and my friends there, we talk about this stuff. The guys that are all my age, we talk about this. They go, "How do you get a chance to get bored? It's time. The day is gone." And it does. I mean, you get up early in the morning. It's just I don't know. I think it's because we got more time to do things, so we're doing them. And I didn't realize it'd been that long since I streamed. Well, I'm gonna have to get back into this streaming, but I enjoy talking with you guys. I really do. It uh, I not only do I enjoy talking to you, I learn things too. I mean, you guys will tell me a little about your country, this and that, what's going on, and it's something I like. I really do. I'm going to have to do more of it. The is it? Did you notice that your prices are going crazy over in your countries too, or is it just here? I don't know. Um, and we're getting so a lot of stuff you can't get. Um, People are hoarding. It's it's ridiculous amount of stuff. But during the COVID thing, when it first started out, everybody was hoarding toilet paper, uh, and that and paper towels. And everybody loaded up. In fact, you'd see them when somebody finally got some in the store. You'd see them go in there and they get three, four shopping carts full of toilet paper to take it home. Yeah, the fuel prices is something that. Here's a good one for you guys. Pickup trucks. I don't know how what you guys are getting for pickup trucks over there for new ones and stuff. But they don't make two-door pickup trucks here for this country anymore. It's all these four-door things, uh, monstrous big things that guzzle gas. The Yeah, your fuel's all going up over there too. I see that. I don't know if you guys are I got this truck bit or not, but I notice over here that's all you can buy is these monstrous four-door trucks. They got about a I don't know 4 or 5 foot box on the back, but they're huge. These things are gas guzzlers. And now with the gas being up, you drive down the road and every little ways, here's one for sale in somebody's yard because they've had it. I mean, they can't drive the things, they can't afford it. When you get something that gives 16, 17 miles to the gallon, and you're paying $5, $6 a gallon, depending on what part of the country you're in, and some of it more. I guess California got up to 7 something at one time. Right now, I'm lucky. Where I'm at right now, fuel is about $4 and 30 cents a gallon, something like that. Um, and I happen to be lucky. I've got a Toyota Corolla and we got a Nissan Altima, and both of them are fantastic on gas. My little Corolla, that thing's about 38 miles to the gallon I'm averaging on it. If I take it over the road, I have been up to 47 with it. Um, it's one of those vehicles that it runs beautiful. On takeoff, don't get in a drag race with a kid on a tricycle because the little kid on a tricycle will beat you. That's what I tell people. It's almost that slow. But what it is it's got that constant velocity transmission on that little 1.8 engine. So it's not the fastest thing I take off, but the gas mileage is wonderful. Now the Nissan, on the other hand, that's a big car. Uh, that's got a 2.5 liter four in it, but the gas mileage is ridiculous on it. Uh, it gets 33, 34 miles to the gallon around normal driving. Okay, you're getting 165. Yeah, I don't know what that crosses over to the dollar right now, but it's probably it's probably up there pretty good. The But the big truck thing's the one that gets me. I said right along, because uh, last couple 3 years, that's all that they've sold over here is these four-door trucks, big monsters, and a lot of them with them big. Well, the Chrysler ones have all got this big Hemi engine in them, and which is a lot of power, but very lousy fuel economy. And I said at the time, I said, don't these people realize that this gas is going to go back up? Because we were up over $4 a gallon before, and then it went down about, I don't know, 3 years ago. It dropped back down to two something, and then we were getting up around three. Oh, you see very few trucks over there. Over here, lots of them. Don't know why, but there's just tons of them. And nobody over here makes a small pickup truck. Probably what you'd see over there, because I know that years ago I had a Mitsubishi pickup and little Japanese pickup. And it was a nice little pickup. It had a 7 foot box. You put the tailgate down, you could lay a sheet of plywood right in there, and it hauled what you wanted to haul with it. And it was low to the ground, and it was just a nice little runabout pickup. They don't have nothing like that here now. I saw all this big monstrous stuff. It ridiculous. The We have a fellow over here. It's Ralph's Collision, and for years he's been collecting old cars and old trucks. Well, now he's our age, and he's getting ready to retire a little bit. There, he's setting his boys and stuff up, but he's been selling some of these cars and trucks, and he's got this 1963 Falcon pickup. You guys are too young to know what the Falcon, but it was a little car. But anyway, the pickup was just like the car, except that the back was just was a pickup box instead of. And I keep telling everybody I'm going out and buy that, which I'm not, but that's, but that'd be my type of pickup. I was going to have a pickup. In fact, I did decide just before the pandemic, I said I'm going to get me a pickup. And I went looking, and that's what I found out. We didn't have any pickups. All we got was four-door monsters. I go, what? So anyway, that's what we got for trucks now. And they went to pushing some bigger cars to it, and everything's SUVs over here. I don't know what you guys got over there for cars, but everything over here they're pushing is SUVs. I'm one of the few idiots that's got a car. Well, I've got two cars. One was my wife's and one was mine. And I don't know. I've always liked cars. I mean, it. I had trucks years ago, uh, and then, well, my first wife, I had her 37 years before she passed, and the last 10 years, she was in rough shape. So I started out with because at the time, we were going back and forth to this one hospital, which was 50 miles away from where we lived. Uh, the round trip, and our winters are pretty rough, or were in those days especially. They've got so it's not quite as bad now. Um, but I went from pickup trucks to like this. I had what they called a geo tracker, which was like a little SUV, four-wheel drive, uh, small. I'd say it looked more like a Jeep or something, except that it was enclosed good. Um, Went to that, and then I ended up having to have a van so I could put a wheel, wheelchair in and out of it and stuff. But I kind of, I've had cars, and I kind of figured, well, I might get a pickup. Well, I got out of that mood in a hurry. Plus, you get sticker shock in a hurry seeing the prices of this stuff. I mean, it's like buying a house. Really, I mean, people used to buy houses cheaper than these cars are. I don't know what your cars are going for over there, but over here, I mean, there's stuff out there $70,000, $80,000. I mean, that's ridiculous. Uh, and especially those big trucks. I mean, you pay the kind of money they want for them big trucks, 60,000 and above. Uh, what do you got in 5 years? It's hi, Mr. Whiskers is here. Yes, you want to come up? Come on, hop up here. Come on, you can come up. Come on, you get right up here. Come on, hop right up. Come on, hurry so the people can see you. Come on. Well, he ain't gonna come up. Oh, there goes another. Let me check this phone. I made a mistake of leaving it out there. Oh, that's probably a scam. Leave it out there. Oh. I just picked that one up, and the guy says, "This is your utility company." Yeah, there was that scam again. Mr. Whisker's doing good. He just ran out in the other room with me when I went out to check the phone. House prices going up over there. Yep. Well, on this house thing, I've been kind of looking around because I got I can use my VA loan. And a VA house loan is this: zero down, and you just make the payments. And I looked last year. £1,000,000. That sounds like a lot of money. I was going to say on this housing thing, I can get this GI loan. And what's crazy is this: they'll give me a 30-year mortgage. Like I can pay off a 30-year mortgage at my age. Anyway, but I told the wife, I said, well, maybe we get a little house. I don't like renting. Uh, you're too, I don't know, you can't do anything. Uh, and we moved in here. My wife, she wanted to move in here, so she's the one that actually arranged it. We moved in. She got here, she don't like it. Oh, we're on a main road. I mean, this main road out here. This is a uh, main truck route, and it's rough. That sounds like a lot of money. Anyways, so I started to tell you about this housing bit. So, okay, last year I said, I'm going to look for a house. So we started looking for houses. This is how crazy the market is here. You go up this house, maybe this house, they want 100,000 for it. Okay. So you say, yeah, I'd like this house. Well, that you got to kind of your name don't go in a hat, but it goes on. You get your bid is in now for 100,000. This other guy bids 120,000, and he got the house. Now the thing is crazy because this maybe you got a house that's worth 80,000. The thing will end up being sold for 160,000. Now this is good for the guy that sold the house, but for the guy that bought the house, no, he's upside down with this thing. He owes more than he could ever sell the thing for or anything else. And plus, with this crazy system they got here, you just put your name in on the house, and you don't know if you got the house or not until the realtor calls and says, "Well, no, you didn't get this house; you were overbid." It's too much like auctioning this stuff to me. It's like this: if you're going to auction a thing, let's all get in a room and we'll all bid, and so you can see who bid who's on what. I know it's crazy. I had two houses last year I wanted in the worst way, and they were reasonable. Uh, well, priced reasonable to start with, but they ended up selling for a ridiculous price. I put in a bid on both of them, and didn't get either one. And who knows? Maybe it's a good thing. But as I was going to tell you about this road out here, all the big trucks come down by here. It's ridiculous. I mean, and this house, we're not setting right on the road. We're back a ways, and the noise is ridiculous. And plus, you go to want to get out, and you sit down here at the end of your driveway, waiting for the traffic to break enough so that you can get out. Uh, at night, you can get in and out, but I don't do much night driving anymore. I don't see that well. And plus, who wants to go anywhere at 11 o'clock at night? Uh, you know, but during the day, it's horrible here. It is horrible. And then what really bugs you is you pull up, the traffic's coming like crazy here. You're stopped here. The traffic's coming from behind you, and you're worried about this guy running into you that's behind you because you see his head down like this. He's texting away back there. He don't even know what road he's on. But anyway, Uh, you're sitting there waiting to turn in. It's kind of hairy. Um, and then of course I worry about Mr. Whiskers getting out. If he happened to sneak out and get out down on that road, he's gone. And so we're real careful about watching him. He didn't come back in with me. Maybe I get him in. I can get him up here in front of the camera for you. Hang on. Mr. Whiskers, where are you? There, kitty. Kitty, come on. Come in here. Come on, hurry up. Come on, give me a cookie. Come with me. Now, bring the phone back with me. Well, I ended up giving the cat one of his cookies. See, uh, 550,000 AUD. I don't really know what that is in our money, but it's a lot. I can tell that. I'm not crazy over this runnings thing. You can't have, well, I can't have a dog if I wanted one. In fact, when the wife put in, this place was brand new when we moved into it. It's a side by side. This nice lady lives on the other side. About 366,000, I think. Oh, that gives me an idea. That's a lot of money. That's not cheap. Nothing's cheap anymore. It see one thing about being old. I remember when stuff was cheap. Um, I remember when I was a kid, houses were $3,000 to $5,000 would buy you a halfway decent house. Um, $20,000 you're, that's a really upscale type thing back in those days. And in fact, my father, when I was a kid, I was, I don't know, 7 or 8, him and his buddy were talking. They figured if they could get $5,000 cash, they could retire. Now think about that. And which in this days, $5,000 was a lot of money. Because I think they were making like $40 a week or something working. Um, but today, it's ridiculous. But anyway, this place, as I'm telling you, is new. Or was new when we moved in. We've been in here, it'll be 2 years this September. There's a nice old lady lives next door to us. So basically, it's nice. It's just the two apartments side by side in this house. It's very nice. The building, but when she contacted this about getting this, you got it. That's all 5,000 does. Well, my rent is $950 a month, and we have to pay all our own utilities, our own heat, everything. Um, it's as I started to tell you, Mr. Whiskers is having lunch. I'm going to see if I can put the camera on Mr. Whiskers for you. So we're here eating. There he is. He's eating. There, how's that? That's a good question. We got him from the uh, it's like the pound, you know. It's he he showed up on somebody's doorstep sick, way down the southern part of the state, and this group, it's a Central Cats Society or something like that. They look after, you know, they take in stray stuff and they pay the hot vet bills and stuff, uh, and then they do a lot of their work through PetSmart, which is a big pet store chain and stuff. And in the most PetSmart stores, I get the words out after a while. They have this little area with cages and this and that, nice little room put up, and they have cats in there. And these are the ones that they've rescued and this and that. This is where he came from. Now, he showed up sick on somebody's doorstep, and they called, and these people went and got him, and they doctored him, paid the vet, and doctored him back to health, and uh, he's left already again. The So he ended up in a cage in there, and they figured he was. They said he was 1 to 2 years old. So I looked at him, and they said, "You don't like people." Well, I said, "I'd like to see him anyway." So They brought him out and jumped on the wife's lap, jumped on my lap. He was happy. He was singing away. I said, "Okay, he picked us. That's good. And that's a good cat for us." And so we said yes, and we signed the papers, and we picked him up the next day. And so we went back out to Syracuse and picked him up, brought him home. My vet figures. I remember I've had him over 3 years now. Um, my vet figures he's actually around 7 years old. They can't be real certain on this thing, you know. And he's an older cat. He does a lot of sleeping and stuff, you know. And he does romp when he feels like it, but he's you can tell he's an older cat. But he's a wonderful cat. He's smart as a whip. Now I've been trying to make a video of this thing. In fact, I did make one, and I didn't like the way it came out because it ended up with the being too messed up because she went ahead and she's got to do is she goes over and gets the washcloth and says, "You want your face washed?" And he runs in and he jumps up on this little table we got for him by the window, and he sits there and waits to get his all washed up with a washcloth, and then he gets his teeth brushed, you know, and all that stuff. And we ended up. I got I got it filmed. And what she did is and she brushes him and all that stuff. Well, what she did is she got him up there and she brushed him and all. She was brushing him. And then she decided, oh, here he is. Here, come here. Come here. I want the people to see you. Come here. Come here, sweetie. Oh my God. Oh, what a big kitty you are. Oh my goodness sakes. Oh, look at this. Look at this. There he is. There you are. There's Mr. Whiskers. Well, they had a name of Whiskers on him. If you'll notice, he has beautiful big long whiskers. Yes. You're a good boy, aren't you? Yes, you are a good boy. Yes. Yeah, she's a good boy. He's a very loving cat, and he doesn't have a mean bone in his body. And he sleeps with us every night, and likes to sleep on my chest. And then he gets after he's on my chest about so long, then he'll roll over into my arms, and he lays there like a baby with his paws up in the air and just sleeping away. Don't you? Huh? Don't you? Yes. So we figure he's somewhere between 7 and 8, roughly. But he's a good boy. Yep. He's letting me hold him longer today. He'll lay on me and stuff like that, but he doesn't usually like to be held. But yeah, you're live on the internet, you know. Yes, you are. Yeah. Yeah. He but he is a good cat. He he's a lot of company for us. He loves to be petted. You just pet him all day. Ain't that right? What you see? What you see? You want to get down, or are you going to be content like that? Okay. There you go. That's a good kitty. That's a good kitty. Oh, there. You guys got to see Mr. Whiskers. He actually let us hold him up here. Usually doesn't like to be held too much. He's not a lap cat, which is funny because he'll lay on me in bed all night. Anytime I'm in there. Well, here's a little story. I brought him home that day from the pound, and I get him home, and we take him into one room. This was over at the other place we had that when we got him. Took him into one room, closed the door because you know usually a cat when you bring a strange cat into your house, he goes under the bed for 3 days. You know, I mean it's like, but we unzipped this cage and took him out of it. He walked out like he owned the place and was just as happy. So let's like wander through the whole apartment. So we did. He wandered all over and then come back, stayed right with us. Okay, that was cool. Uh, that night, got ready to go to bed. He raced me to bed. He jumped up on the bed. I got into bed, got on my chest, and that's where he stayed. And pretty much done that ever since. And so, I mean, there was never any of this hiding under the bed and this and that or anything. He was just right at home. So, but he's a good cat. I made a few short videos with him. He's not a real active cat. It's awful hard to make much with him in a video because half the time he doesn't do much, you know. Yeah, cats are wonderful things, really. I mean, they are a wonderful creature, you know. I mean, nice thing about a cat. Now, I had dogs and stuff way back before we downsized into an apartment. Which, guys, I'm going to give you're young, so just keep this in mind. When you get older, don't downsize. Stay in your house. Don't go say, oh yeah, we ought to get an apartment. Oh, bah humbug. Because you don't have any. What do you got? You no longer have a little shop to work in, maybe, or you know, some place that you could do something. And I'm used to always having a little work area, where I can go and put stuff together, or this or that. And, yeah, I've built quite a few computers and stuff. Although that last update I did on my computer, it's probably the last because of this computer updating I'll do. Um, this thing's pretty fast, so I'm happy with it, and it'll run any video game I want to run on it, so that's good. In fact, I've got Far Cry 6, but I haven't done much with it. I haven't had the time. I haven't felt good. Um, the I got a bone spur in this arm, which is so now. For a long time there, the arm bothered me. I couldn't run the mouse. I mean, it was just so anyway. Because I'm from the old school. When playing video games, mouse in your right hand, keyboard on the left hand. Oh, yes. Let's talk motorcycles. I rode motorcycle all my life, and I'd be riding right now if my legs would hold one up. The There's nothing like motorcycles. I don't know. There's something about a motorcycle. You climb on the back of that. It's just like freedom. Yep. That's I can understand the motorcycle bit. Yep. Well, guys, I see I've been on here for, is that an hour and 42 minutes? And it's 20 minutes to 7. I probably ought to round this up and scoot off of here because I'm going to have to go join her, get her something to eat too, because she'll be coming home. And I appreciate you all being here. I really do. What have I had? Well, I started out with an Indian. Uh, when I was 11 years old, I had an uncle that rode with a club. Let's put it more like a gang, but it's a club. But anyway, um, I was 11 years old, and was always helping my father with his trucks and this and that. In fact, we just got through overhauling one. And I was just turning 12, and my uncle said to my father, he's interested in motorcycles. He says, I'll bring him out some parts and see what he can do. He brought me out this engine and transmission. It was 1951 engine and transmission from I think it was, I think they called that a Scout or something. It was a 500cc engine. Anyway, we had the tank shift on it. You had to pump the oil pressure up, then start the engine. Then it would maintain the oil pressure. This is quite a piece of work. But anyway, got the engine and transmission running. My father and I got the engine unseized and got up the thing up, put new rings in, got it all fixed up. So my uncle then he brought me out a 28 racing chassis, and I'm not even sure what that was off of, but we mounted the engine and transmission in it, and then we ended up with this extended Harley chopper type front end on it. And basically, that's what I had was a chopper. That's what it turned into. And I was not quite 13, and I was riding with my uncle's club. In those days, you had a handful of motorcycles to go somewhere. Nobody paid attention to it. And of course, we were riding mainly up in this part of the world. And in those days, if you saw state trooper or something. It was like the king coming to town or something. You had never seen him. There wasn't much of anything around up in the North Country here. So basically, I've been riding all my life, just about. The So I had the Indian. Uh, 1969, I think it was. Anyway, the the engine was getting worn out on it, and I mean, it was just, you know. So let's see. I had a, Bridgestone that I picked up off a guy. It wasn't, real over the road machine like the Indian was, but the it was a rotary engined Bridgestone. They didn't make too many of them, and but he bought it, and then his wife wouldn't let him ride it. So anyway, uh, I ended up with it, and I rode that for a couple of years. It got me back and forth to work. And let's see what else I had. Oh, somewhere along between there, I had a couple different Harleys. I never was much into Harleys, though. You had to work on them too much in those days in between. You worked on them all week so you could ride them on a weekend. Anyway, the in 1976, I bought a brand new Suzuki, 1000 cc, and that was quite a machine. That had a 5 gallon gas tank on it, and I dressed it up. I had Lear Siegler fiberglass saddlebags on the back. Of course, I had crash bars on it and all that stuff. It's one thing I never rode without crash bars. You want a crash bar on your bike because if you have to lay that thing down, you don't want to lose a leg. Anyway, so I had that 1976 Suzuki, and I had that until 1993. And that's when my wife got bad, the first wife. And so that's when she was starting to get bad. And I gave up riding, and I sold it, and I sold my Suzuki. That was a beautiful bike. My gosh, that thing never give me a minute's problem. It ran just nice, wonderful bike. So that was what I had. I had a Harley Sportster way back for a little while. I had I'm trying to think what the heck model that was now. Doesn't matter. I had a couple different Harleys. I had a couple of little fun things to play with too. I bought a Push uh, out of Austria. I think that's where it was made, Austria. Anyway, that was kind of a fun little machine to run around town with. It was kind of cool. And I had a Harley Topper for a little while. A Harley Topper was a big scooter, basically, is what it amounted to. They were two people could ride on it comfortably. Had a nice cowling thing in the front, you know, you put your feet in there and go through a puddle and you didn't get wet. It was kind of a cool thing to play with. And it had a I think it was like a 150 cc engine or something in it. You know, it wasn't the fastest thing in the world, but it was fun to play with. Had that too when I was younger. But that was about it in bikes. That was my Suzuki was my favorite. That was a good bike. That was something. I finally got into something classic for me. Everything else was parts strung together. Talk about parts strung together. I had a friend, and his bike was all same thing, all pieced together and stuff. when we were younger. And his off and on switch was a headlight switch out of a Volkswagen. Little plunger pull switch. You pull that up, start the thing, and pushed it down and shut it off. Had that wired on the side. Oh yeah, we rode some pretty rough looking stuff, I'll tell you. But hey, we were riding. That was the main thing. But what I'd like one of them slingshots. I don't know if you guys have them over there or not. It's a side-by-side motorcycle. It's a 3-wheel, and it's just that side-by-side in them. Yeah, they were kind of cool. Set side by side, and they're neat, but they're too much money. I mean, ridiculous. Uh, I'd like one of those because I could run one of them. I wouldn't have to wouldn't have to hold it up. I mean, but the price is out of this world. Well, motorcycles are out of this world anyway over here. I don't know what they are over there. They got to be expensive over there too. But here they're horrible. The last time I checked Indians, you can get an Indian Retro, which were built like the stuff out of the 50s and looked like them. And they were like 65,000. I'm going, it was fully dressed, but I mean, it was $65,000 for a motorcycle. I mean, that's ridiculous. So, nothing I could afford. But, well, guys, I'm going to have to take off. I see everybody's left except one. I think Lewis is the last one with me. I think that Lucky Jack and the other one left. So I think I'm going to have to call it a day. And I'm so glad you guys came and joined me. I really am. I appreciate it. So have you got a motorcycle now? I will try to stay safe. I'm trying very hard. And we will try to have another live before too long. Don't want to go another year and a half. That was ridiculous. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. God bless you, and hopefully I'll catch you very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.